But any thoughts on Warriors? The Warriors lost to Sacramento in the last game of the in-season tournament.
J-Bad?
I think it was the story of the season so far. It was I turned on the game and we were already up. I knew Clay. I think Clay started off hot again. Wiggins. Oh man, we're so good when Clay and Wiggins play good. But in the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter, you could just. No, I think fourth quarter, you could just tell that Clay and Wiggins were back to themselves. At least Wiggins was, and then the stretch where Moody probably should have stayed in the game and he brought Clay back in. I feel like that turned that. That's what gave the game away.
Yeah, Van Gundy called it at that point when Moody came out. Yeah, Van Gundy called it 11 points, and it was like Van Gundy was shocked as he said every fact too. He's like 11 points, hasn't missed a field goal all quarter, and he's like, I don't know if I would have took him out, and then he finally said, well, maybe he's tired. And then in my head, I was like, he's not coming back in this game. Steve Kerr's not putting him back in, and probably like 4.5, maybe 5 minutes left. Like he did all that.
It was 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. That's what made me mad, because he took Moody out with 4 minutes left, and I just feel like after he just hit 2 threes, and I feel like he could have just let him rock 2 more minutes, if anything, before bringing Clay back in.
You have to,
you could have just seen how shit looked with that lineup. Because it was Curry, Moody, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney, and I feel like that was a really good lineup. That could have potentially could have closed the game out. But if you had to bring Clay back in the last 2 minutes just Kerr for his security or whatever it was, just I don't know, let the dude miss a shot first or something, like have a heat check or something. But obviously he was gearing up. He was in it. You could tell he was in the gear, and
it was different. It felt a little different. What you said. The 2 minutes thing that you said was good, because I didn't think about that at first. I was just like, my head, it was just, he's not coming back in this game after he came out. But I wasn't even thinking at that time of just like, oh yeah, just let him, like, you literally just tell Clay, come back to the bench, like let him get a couple more plays, and then it could be a minute, it could be 2 minutes later. Probably realistic is 2 minutes later, you get him in at the first dead ball within the last 2 minutes of the game, if you really want to this is getting into the details, man, of like, really Kerr having to figure this out, like what the night like tonight, where it's like you got to look at coaching in. Well, this is definitely a Steph Curry, Steve Kerr loss for sure. You just got to look at the top dogs, the point guard, the head coach, the scheme, and everything, and not executing this. Looking at those two, the details, man. You know your team, you know your players. You got a guy out there that's really showing you something. He's been consistent all year, and he hits a streak like that at the most crucial moments of the game. He's giving you all of the fourth quarter points. That's the other part of him coming out 4 for 4 from the field, 11 points in the fourth quarter was, I think Van Gundy said Wiggins, Clay, and Steph were they were shooting terrible in the fourth quarter. They had, I think it was a combined like maybe 1 or 2 field goals. It was like going into that last 4 or 5 minutes, Clay, Wiggins, and Curry hadn't been able to get anything really going. So
I don't think Clay did anything when he came in the last 4 minutes. I don't even know if he got like a real touch. I don't know if he got a shot up or anything.
If he did, it wasn't a good one.
If he did, it wasn't a good one. It was just like, wow, we just subbed out production. I don't know. I mean, I feel like everybody knew it was about to happen. I saw Clay getting up with them ice packs on his knees, and I'm just like, yo, you're telling. That's the thing why I don't even blame Clay though.
It's not Clay at all.
I feel like Clay would have perfectly understood if you just told him real quick, okay, we're gonna let this rock for a little bit, and things would have been fine. And I get that. Yeah, I have to just put that one on.
So that's Curry.
Put that one on Curry, because but then I also put it on Curry too, because you got to say something. I feel like you got to say something. Curry and Draymond, y'all got to say something there, like, because
I get it.
It's just the moment. I understand the rotation. I feel like that's just Curry. He just wants to stick to the rotation, but I don't know. Maybe it's weird because it's the NBA, but sometimes no, it's
It
not.
felt, no, it felt like an obvious. No, it really felt like an obvious in the moment decision. It was like one of those decisions Kerr has to face so he can like see it clearly. Like, yo, like yeah, Clay had a good game. Clay's had a couple of good games now. He's not stinking up the gym anymore. You got this young dude who's ready to play and close games out. You got this young dude who's ready, who's very reliable. And it's like you can make the decision to rock with Clay, or you can make the decision to rock with this young dude in the last 2, 3, 4 minutes of games. And like it's not an easy decision to make, especially when Clay has 20 points, in the game. It's like, but you have to be tapped in with your team and be able to coach this team night to night on the regular season. But yeah, it was just absolutely one of those times where you just at least tell Clay, give him a couple more plays. Clay's been hot. Is a streaky as a good player has ever been streaky, and he knows what it's like to be like have somebody come to the sideline and see them walk back because Clay makes another three. Like it's like he would at least know what it means, especially Kurt, to be able to say like, yeah, just take a minute, dog. Now Steph is selling Clay out by the way. It's the only time you'll ever hear me hate on the way Steph Curry plays the point guard position because I know he's he's probably the greatest point guard to ever play the game of basketball. But man, he be selling Clay out, dog. He be acting like Clay could still do stuff. He be running these actions, and Steph lets because the Warriors are all about flow, read and react, and all that stuff. But Steph just lets the initial action involve Clay too often, and it's even if it's not Steph making the pass, you can see him organizing it to get Clay a look, and it's like Steph, the ball's gonna die in Clay's hands, and you're asking way too much of him. Like you have to tweak, you have to be the person that you have to either create the initial penetration or find someone else to create the initial penetration for Clay to play off of. Like you can't keep acting like for him, it's him and Kerr, Curry and Kerr, the main ones I'm looking at. Like you guys have to talk to and stop treating Klay Thompson like he's Klay Thompson. Like it's up to you two guys to start changing the looks and the amount of looks and touches he's getting and the amount of minutes he's getting in the game, just so he can start to adjust his game.
It's time to get out of 2016.
Oh man.
Curry,
Curry just be running some plays like it's just going Curry. Like Curry, what do you think Clay's gonna do off this pin down? Like we need it. Like it'd be times where we need a bucket, or like the game feels like it's hanging or going a certain way, or like we're not having a couple bad possessions in a row with Clay on the court. And it's just like, Steph, it would really do well if you didn't go to Clay, or you made sure Clay didn't throw away a possession here. Like you need to be thinking about that. You need to be thinking that Clay will throw away possessions sometimes. You need to protect him from that. And that shouldn't just be Curry, but I expect Curry, one of the greatest point guards of all time, to tap into that as the season goes. And I definitely expect Steve Kerr, one of the greatest coaches of all time, to progressively adjust this man's role. This game was over. The the in-season tournament chances were over when Gary Payton got hurt, because this team not beating anybody by double digits without Gary Payton. And the game was over when Moses Moody subbed out the game, and Moses Moody subbed out the game after scoring 11 points in the fourth quarter. They wasn't going to win that game. Fox, Mr. Fourth Quarter, was going to get to the line, get enough buckets, rally the team, rally the crowd, and make it really hard for you to win a basketball game in Sacramento, because that's what he do. That's what he do.
Fuck that guy wasn't going to let that happen. The basketball guys were not going to let us win that game.
Yeah,
you can't.
Draymond wild too, man. Yeah, Draymond back.
You know what's funny? They messed up on that. they said he was ejected at first. They put a Draymond Green ejected. They switched it to technical.
They just stood in and profiling this dude. I say when he got the tech, it's funny. Van Gundy or the other dude said it was like, him and Curry are doing the exact same motion. Like they're doing the exact same thing at the moment. It's just like, right, like the moment he calls the tech, like Steph and Draymond are making, like doing the exact same thing, talking about the exact same thing. And it looks like they're mouthing the same shit. It's like, oh yeah, nah, Draymond, you finna get a T for this. Steph, they don't even see Steph doing it, man. Steph's the same asshole though. He says they were both arguing. It wasn't the most recent play. It was like the play before that they were arguing. It was like they were arguing, Steve Kerr's players arguing for a carry or like a double dribble or some shit from the play before. You guys are antagonizing the ref.
Free John Morant.
Well,
that made me go back to that. Well, yeah, that's if you get it, you get it.
Free the Memphis Grizzlies to the Eastern Conference. You feel me?
That part.
Bless the Grizzlies. Let's send them over there.
Free Moody. If I'm Moody, I don't know how I feel. it's getting weird. Maybe they have some weird connection that we don't know about, or Kerr's trying to do his version of I don't know what anymore. That's the thing. I feel like I feel like Popovich easily lets a player ride out there. Like,
Yeah,
and man, what if Moody is our Kawhi Leonard and we just don't know?
he is. No, I was like, the more I watch, like, okay, I already know about Kawhi, but you feel me? He is our guy, like the closest thing the Warriors staff will ever get to draft. Like, I feel like I was coming into it and still feel very strongly about how good Kuminga can be and how strong I think the Curry Kuminga tandem can look. It can happen very fast, I guess, like with those two. But the more I watch Moses Moody play, the more I'm like, yo, y'all did this shit. Like, y'all just need to play this dude 36 minutes a night because he legitimately is the most surprising player that I could say could be the second best player on the team. I don't think he's going to get the minutes, and there's too many players in the way to happen, but like he's going to be more consistent and locked in than everybody in his way, and that's what feels unfair. So it's just like, how good is he? We really don't know. Because there's so many. Mike said it today when he was watching Kerr's presser.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring that.
He was not in the rotation. Moses Moody was not supposed to be in the rotation tonight. He only was played so many minutes because Gary Payton got hurt.
That's what I was thinking too.
Steve Kerr was not going to play this man. That's who he wasn't going to play. And even when Wiggins and Clay have a good game, you just still see. I think Moses Moody is going to have a better game on less shots with less mistakes. And it's just how many times? Yeah, how much of the season we're going to get through before? Yeah, it's got to fit.
I'm actually gonna play this. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it, but the people listening will be able to hear it, and I'll kind of just break it down after. But I do want to play this because it kind of, on a lot of different levels, it just threw me.
Matters. That's why he's going to be in the league for a long time.
Can y'all hear that?
Nah.
Try again. Moody was really hot in the fourth, and you went away from him. What was kind of the reasoning?
Moses was awesome tonight. We needed to get wins awesome on the floor for defense against Fox, and we decided to go with Clay and our vets. We thought about keeping him out there, but we made the move that we made. He was, by the way, Moses was fantastic.
Turning red.
Out of the rotation.
Call white man BS.
Talked to him before the game and explained what we were doing. The guy, he reminds me of Loon. Moses.
He just said he reminds him of Loon. Just so much little disrespect. It was just so funny how he goes through it because it starts with like he says the justifiable part of the sub where it's like, yeah, Wiggins in for defense, and like Wiggins had 29. Wiggins comes back in the game and it says just kind of slips in, bring our vets back in. No real justification actually for that. But then the disrespectful part is I don't understand. I don't understand why he wasn't in the like what he's done over the last 3 or 4 games. It literally feels like a coach trying to make a change so his team wins games and ignoring the various obvious change that needs to be made. So now you're cutting minutes from, like you said, from a nigga that just needs to play. And it's wild that we're kind of sitting here and having to deal with this. And then, just at the end, he reminds him, Kurt said when he had the conversation, took it like a pro, reminds me of Loon. I was like, no, we don't need to do this shit. He should be. You don't need to just let this nigga be. Yeah, he's fine coming off the bench. So we're going to make him come off the bench because Clay's not going to be fine with it. I get it.
No, yeah, it's you. I mean, you first 2 pods, you called it. I feel like a lot of the discussion was you were just explaining to me. I feel like a lot of I was explaining how just Moody and Kuminga have proven and shown they need to be on the court this season, and Kurz, I feel like made the way for them to be on the court. But everything you were saying, I think the holdbacks and where our conversation went was just Klay Thompson. And where do the minutes come from for Moody and for Kuminga consistently? And then that's something that was just something we worried about. Something we were saying we're going to be frustrated probably with how Kerr tries to figure this out because he is just going to have to get through playing Klay Thompson minutes and figuring out around that how this season is going to go. But the person, I think we even probably said it then, the person who loses out the most isn't Kuminga in all of this. The person who loses out the most is Moses Moody. Like in this this crowded wing rotation, crowded point, kind of crowded guard rotation because Kerr has his very set, I think, just 3 very professional. I feel like their agents, like Chris Paul and Corey Joseph agents, have the roles written down of what it's supposed to be. Like the backcourt or the point guard shit is completely set, especially with the way Brandon's been playing, and that's such a, like Brandon being a positive, and it's just and all of this, everything about the roster being exactly what it's supposed to be outside of your starting two wings inconsistencies, and it's just highlights. It makes us feel why we got to this point now. It feels so frustrating because it's specifically the guys in front of Wiggins, in front of Moody, playing subpar and inconsistent. Wow, he just continues to show he's ready, and we knew he wasn't going. It was going to be a fight for the minutes, but it's sad to see that he deserves them, and there's nothing that could probably get them to him except for Kerr. Kerr just telling, Kerr getting Clay up out of there. How does Kerr deal with Clay?
And I'll say my last part of this, because as much as I think it's good you guys have broke down the frustration with Kerr and with Steph, and I think in this particular case, I just want to, as much as we're killing Kerr, and I want to kill Kerr because it's like, I don't know, man, just feel like you just got to ride the high hand. Curry had a quote, Kawakami, or not Curry had a quote, I think Kawakami was talking about Curry, like how Curry's mentality is that he wants to be out there with Draymond and Clay, and I don't know if the big boy talks, but it's like, I don't know. You guys told the dude thought Mark Jackson was the coach that was going to lead him to the championship. Like sometimes you got to tell NBA players that you're not right on things. It's like, yeah, it would be great. It would be great if Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green rolled off into the sunset, like playing great basketball and like all at the same time, finished it out, retired, jerseys in the rafters, statues all at the same time. Steph's just going to play longer. And we're at the first year of like, yo, we are wasting Steph Curry's I won't say prime because I don't know how you talk about Steph Curry and where he's at, but we're wasting a very good, like an excellent, elite Steph Curry season. When it's obvious, it's just obvious, man. It's okay. Players get older. Sometimes guys take spots. If you want to win a championship this year, which is feeling less and less and less of a possibility as the season goes on, you're going to need to mess with this starting lineup. It's not going to happen with these guys. We've got 18 games of evidence now. It's not going to happen with these guys. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think it needs. You got to switch it up, man. You just got to switch it up. I know y'all love play, but y'all got to switch it up.
Where my appreciation for LeBron's coming in. Somebody said, LeBron, don't hesitate to push that red button. No matter where he's at, he already said something. He already mentioned the change got to be made. Clay can't get it together. It's just like, man, like
Clay would have been gone last November. If this was LeBron, that's why I give LeBron credit too, because Curry being way too nice. So everything Mike was saying there, Curry want to be out there with Clay and Draymond too. I feel like he definitely part of this, man. He hanging on to something that ain't there too. Like I was saying earlier, the looks he be trying to get Clay, I just be like, Steph, you like the glass needs to shatter so you can see this person for who he really is now. But yeah, Brian would have got wouldn't have dealt with Clay's slumps last year. He would have been like, hey dog, we out on this.
I just want to point out, I didn't notice till now. Somehow Andrew Wiggins managed to be a negative impact or not negative impact, but somehow they didn't win the minutes when he was on the court. And I don't even know if I blame him.
A lot of minutes with Clay.
Yeah, I don't know if I blame him for that as much as like the 2 times this dude's got buckets, we haven't been able to win. So I don't know. This team's weird, man.
I would say, that was what was I gonna say? She said something else to me. Thought of something. Well, the pump fake. That's what's kind of scary to me about this team, actually, and really because of Moses Moody and Kuminga, I feel like is what unlocks this. And seeing, Gary Payton is part of also what unlocks this, which is scary to see him get hurt again. Hope Gary gets healthy and hope it's nothing serious because very big key to this team. But Kerr is going to be able to get by because this team is really good. He's not going to have to, I think, confront a lot of what we're talking about because I think they're going to be fine. I think it's felt a lot worse. The first 18 games has felt a lot worse than where they're really at, which I think is just a really solid roster. And even with the Chris or whatever is going on with Chris, like Corey's been, exactly what you expect from Corey. Just like Chris has been like kind of exactly what you expect from Chris, kind of like just exactly kind of professional. Dario's continues to kind of just surprise me and shoot the ball really well. Up and down, everything's been great. It's just the Clay Wiggins part haven't been so bad. And now I see Clay and Wiggins starting to kind of turn the corner a little bit. And that's where I worry that their minutes aren't going to change. We're going to have to get through most of this season playing through the bad habits and the ups and downs of Clay and Wiggins. when we need this flip. Like, we just need Kuminga and Moody to be the guys. I want to play through Moody and Kuminga's bad games and turnovers. I don't want to play through Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins' ups and downs. Like, at least we need a split. Like, at least we need to split this. Like, we can't continue to, have to play Wiggins and the Moody Kuminga duos come or as a starter bench as it is now. Like, it needs to at least split in half so that, Wiggins or Klay comes off the bench and Moody or Kuminga starts by the end of the season. So, yeah, that's I'm kind of scared because I think they're good enough to just kind of meddle around at 500 with Klay and Wiggins starting and Klay and Wiggins playing up and down basketball. And that just doesn't leave the room ever for Moody to really break through and just steal the spot from one of those two, which I think needs to happen. So we'll see. We'll see. Kerr, man, you got your squad, dog. This is a Steve Kerr team. 10 deep. Gary, get Gary back healthy. You need Gary Payton. Steph and Steve need Gary Payton, man. That's where too. That first half, look how they played in that first half. That was kind of shows you part of the sign like this team. Just having Draymond and Gary both like, hey man, we locked in. It looked different.
That's why it's frustrating. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Hoping the best for GP too, because the energy is different. The energy is different with him and Draymond both out there and locked in, especially in a season like this one where I think they're just that. I guess I don't know. It feels weird to call it Warriors magic, but it does feel like that kind of. I think probably why I feel so much like you have to move on. Not like move on from Klay. I think you talked about how like a bench role makes sense. Like not like this dude can be a factor on the team, but it is like, it's different than what it was before. And 2022 was like honestly fairly different, but it's like it's really different than what it was before now.
Keeps doing the thing too, man. I feel like he was leading scorer at halftime tonight, having a good game, but he will just shoot himself out of a good game, and that's where it comes to Curry and Kerr. Really have to figure out this role for him because Klay's not going to be a 33% shooter in the NBA, like a three-point shooter in the NBA. Like, he's going to be capable of shooting 37, 38. From three, you have to make sure that he's not out there chucking a bunch of mid-range looks, getting too many touches, and not playing not on the court more than he should be in times that he shouldn't be. And that all comes down to Curry and Kerr figuring it out. He'll take a good game and turn it into a bad one. He'll take a good quarter, turn it into a bad quarter really fast these days, and I'll be feeling bad because it's like he's really showing up for y'all. Somebody needs to put the leash, or somebody needs to. That sounds bad. Somebody needs to understand where he's at.
Somebody needs to be a coach / ball handler and make sure their teammates are in the best positions to be effective. And that actually expands beyond Kerr and Curry to also include Draymond, who I haven't been hating on much this year because honestly, every time I look up, he's making threes. But
man, Draymond made 2 threes and we lost. That's crazy.
Oh shoot, yeah, that usually doesn't happen. Damn.
No, it's all makes it easy. I feel like it's going to take Kerr a while to get there, but it click at some point and it should be overflow if we do get the flip at some point. Because Klay or Wiggins is going to really benefit from playing next to Dario and Chris, I think. Like, I think it's tougher for Moody and Kuminga, and they're just consistent and they're ready to play and ready to contribute. But I think it's tougher for them and be easier for Klay or Wiggins to play alongside those two and just play off of those two guys. And Chris is going to, I think Chris can, Chris with his super teammate Dario out there and everything they've got going, I think you put one of those wings out there with the bench lineup. I think it balances us out really well.
What even happened to Chris? That nigga had leg soreness. What was that?
That was a tough one. That was a tough one, man. I thought like that was I feel like Chris Haynes was, as he was even saying, it was like, man, I feel like I'm just reporting the dude's old and his leg hurt. It wasn't much else beyond that.
Man, I just see Steph and the young dudes, man.
That's what I'm saying. I was about to say Steph's not playing enough with Steph. I feel like he's not getting enough time with Moody, of course, but even just all of them. I feel like that's why Chris is kind of like the scapegoat. Now Steph needs to be playing with these dudes actually, and he doesn't get that much time with them.
And Klay needs to probably play with Chris versus bench lineups. Wiggins needs to have some nights too. That was when Moody hit because it was the three. He usually do, he do his jab and his three, like, oh, he confident, he take his time with it, he do his thing, he knocking it down now. But this time when the white boy came down, hit a three on him, and then he came back the other way, he just pulled. I was like, oh shit. I was like, wait, Moody ready. I ain't never seen him take a three that fast. Like he was 2K. He went up one badge. He went from like bronze no quick release. He went up to bronze. He got that off. I was like, what? Man, dude been working on his game. Reward this man. He's working on his game.
Y'all remember when 2K put shot release speed on badges and made us fucking grind?
Yeah, that wasn't bad. I was gonna say. I said that it was not a badge no more. Yeah,
that's why they used to make us do that. No, I'm just thinking back. They used to. Okay, that's side take. Any other thoughts on?
That's the other difference between. That's why Chris needs to play with Clay more too. Is Chris don't have no problem looking off Clay when it's just not there. I feel like Steph will try to force it sometimes, and it will could get Steph two turnovers a game trying to force some shit to Clay or force some action that Draymond thinks he sees, and just in the middle of the possession or just early in the possession. And Chris, I've seen it a couple of times already. Chris will just look Clay off, and Clay would get kind of mad, but that's shit. He sets him up with the right shots.
Yeah,
better. It's better for him.
Yeah, Clay get to that point where he ain't got no choices, man. Take your ass to the bench and play with Chris, man, and just take whatever you get. But it really, everything you're saying is true, because watching Chris close a quarter is crazy. I watched him play for a long time, but watching him close a quarter is crazy because he really does he understands the flow, understands time and possession so well, and he's so insane about not turning the ball over, especially when the game gets down to any type of 1 minute 30 seconds left. In the first three quarters, you feel me? He is just he is aware, and he's going to try to get a 2, 4, 5, 6 point advantage, whatever advantage he can get on the team in that 1 to 2 minutes. He's gonna get it, and see it when he plays with Dario. He's gonna look off other people for Dario, and I've gotten used to it now because I understand how his brain is working. Of just like he just knows how to, on average, just get the points per possession, however that stat works. But like with watching Chris Paul play, that's what it feels like I'm watching, especially at the close quarter, especially close quarters especially when he's playing against all bench lineups with our full bench lineup. And Clay or Wiggins just definitely would benefit from a guy who just looks them off for a better look, or because he knows he's going to draw this foul. The little things Chris Paul does, or he's had a couple nights too where he's made some shots, man. And he's doing that. He look real nice when he's making his little floater and a three. But just somebody who's going to look Clay and Wiggins off as opposed to Steph, who ain't too nice, man. It's too nice. This thing is we're a point guard dynamic. Steph's being too unselfish, trying to spread the floor around like the point guard, while Chris knows the point guard thing to do is to just, I'm going to hit David West or Dario Saric on the pick and pop because I trust them more than anybody else on the court. And you other niggas better be ready to shoot when we pass y'all the ball. We're going to score every time, or we're going to get fouled every time. And y'all going to get good looks off of that shit. So just be patient and wait. Curry over here. Here, Clay. Here, Wiggins. Here, Clay.
Was Chris even on the bench the rest of the game? Probably.
He came out. I feel like Stan Van pointed out when he came out from the back to tell him something. He saw something on film.
He wasn't gonna stay. He said, "Man, y'all gonna make me get up. Y'all make me get up." I said, they're gonna figure this out, man. We got two of the greatest pointers of all time, greatest coaches of all time, man. No way this team doesn't win the NBA championship. If they don't, they're letting Moses Moody down. Next Kawhi Leonard. You heard it here first.
Believe. Hashtag.
I believe it. Hey, man. I'm all in. Moses Moody. He was
a good
nice
player, man. He's a really good player. I feel like we ran the game. Any other thoughts on this game? I was going to point out Sabonis. Sabonis going to have to figure it out against these dudes at some point, man. I don't know what this is here.
All right, I'm not supposed to hate, man, but some players make me want to hate, man. Good win for the Kings.
He had 10 assists to 1 turnover.
He was done. When they said that stat that he shoots 60% versus the entire NBA and less than 50% versus the Warriors, I was like, bro, Draymond nice and all, but I'm like, what is everybody else doing? Like, because I'm only watching him most of the time versus the Warriors. It's just like, that gap has to just feel crazy. It's like, yo, he's really dominant versus 29 teams in the NBA, like a consistently dominant player versus most teams in the NBA. I just see the version of him that can't get a bucket.
It's wild how hard it is for him to make open jump shots against the Warriors. Because again, it's one of those things where I've seen enough Kings games, and also just like before he got to Sacramento, like this nigga can make an open 20-foot jumper. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's shots the Warriors give him that are like, I don't understand like how like he missed another one of those like elbow like kind of one step to the right of the elbow kind of jumpers, and it's like, bro, you're in the NBA. You have a good touch. I watched you spend a whole season just shooting corner threes because Russell Westbrook was trying to get triple doubles. Like I know you have a decent jump shot. Like and
that's how they were. The Warriors treat triple double dudes with disrespect. That's how they treated Russ too. I feel like he should have jumped shot or something about it. They laughing or they just.
I mean, it starts there's like Tony. I mean, put in a big moment for them and like one of the starting of how this all comes to be is putting Bogut on Tony Allen. It's like they were kind of not the inventors, but they were the ones that probably went to the extreme of, oh, that guy can't shoot. We're not gonna guard him at all, actually, kind of type of thing. So, yeah, it's weird.
Popovich like was doing the best player in the world 2013. Boris Diaw telling him, "Hey, back up until he make a shot. Back up until number 6."
Boris Diaw
and
was going
last minute. He procrastinated. He started making jump shots at the end.
That was wild. That was why I did the same thing to the Warriors in 2016. Same thing to the Warriors in 2016. But I was gonna say, Boris Diaw, for just to clarify, Boris Diaw was going like there were screens being set for LeBron at the elbow, and Boris Diaw was going under those screens.
It was a combination of two great basketball minds because it was Popovich and Boris. Like it was Popovich and any Popovich player. You feel me? It just looked like they going under, but it was Boris, so it just looked like Boris wasn't even he was just like rolling around the screen, and there was like if he was on the screen was Boris dragged the screen down to the block. Now it's just like he's increasing the space between him and LeBron for no reason. It's just like, oh yeah, no, like this is crazy. Like it felt it was that where Doc and KG, you feel me, kind of let me down because Pop was really about that life. We were just saying, I don't respect your jump shot, LeBron James. Where I get why the Celtics had to bend eventually, but Celtics was always kind of playing too much up on LeBron, man. But yeah, it takes the real confidence to tell a great player like to really kind of disrespect a great player with the game plan like that. But yeah, the Warriors be choosing that shit whenever they see somebody who just can't shoot. They gonna make you feel disrespectful. Like we leaving you wide open. We leaving you wide open.
That's crazy.
Popovich did that to LeBron. That's crazy. That's why he probably lost the series.
No, he came back. Oh, yeah, that's why he lost that series. Yeah. That's why he lost. Yeah.
It's down in his free throws.
He doesn't to just don't take Tim Duncan out the game, or at least after the first time you give up offensive rebound in the 3, they don't take Tim Duncan out the game again. That's how it goes. We all make mistakes. Any other Warriors thoughts or any thoughts on this game? I saw Sabonis' stat line. And I feel like I had to point it out, but
I don't know what's about to happen the next 2 games. So whatever I said, I don't know what's going on with the Clippers.
That's a good.
We got one win, baby. We got one
win.
We'll
beat them